All right. I will say that it's really weird recording multiple verses and then putting the whole spiel of what I'm doing every single time, especially for those people here in chat. But I am recording this. This is a live stream. If you would enjoy to join in the live stream, join in the live discussion, then you can find me on DonnieDreams.twitch.tv. I am looking into actually possibly live streaming to YouTube. I just have to figure out a way to pay attention to chat. I'm very, very interactive with chat here on Twitch, and I would like to be able to do that the same on YouTube. That's one of the reasons why I haven't been live streaming these on YouTube. But to go over it again, we are reading through Luke. We are posting one chapter every day leading up until Christmas of 2024. We'll probably be doing this again. This is rabbit trails and all. It is a live chat. We get into various discussions, and it's kind of fun. It's been very, very, very interesting. There is a way to merge chats, but I think that's against terms of service. It's possible. Maybe I should check into Restream and see if I can do Restream. And what I would like to do, what I would really like to do. So as you see, the chat bubble here, it's purple. So that's Twitch. What would be really cool, because I've seen other people that's got chat, like YouTube and Twitch merged, and they haven't said anything. And there was even this whole big thing where Harris Keller, I think is his name, was talking to the CEO of Twitch, and he had merged chat on his stream, and nothing was ever said to him. So if they're not going to enforce it, could we actually jump into it? But yeah, that's the idea. It's if I could find a way to get this and adjust this chat bubble script so that purple would be Twitch and then red would be YouTube, that would be amazing. And then I can just pay attention to chat on stream, and I'd be able to follow along with both, and I wouldn't need the extra screen. Not TikTok. We'll see what ends up happening with the TikTok ban. I know I do TikTok, and I am on the TikTok. I did actually check it up. I do have live access. I could go live on TikTok. So maybe there's a possibility that yo, thanks for the lurk, Pre. I appreciate that. But we'll see what happens with the ban on TikTok. If there is not a ban on TikTok, if it doesn't actually get banned, then one of the things that I might end up doing, I want to go out fishing. Like, that's one of the things I want to do next spring, is I want to do some fishing. And it's very possible that if I take some time off stream and I want to go out and do some stuff outdoors, then I might do some live on TikTok. And if not, like if they do ban TikTok, I'm curious where the live aspect of TikTok is going to go. So we'll find that out. We'll cross that bridge when we get there, so they say. Jeremiah says, I don't blame the student, though. The Catholic Church has crowned Aquinas as Dr. Angelicus, the Doctor of Angels. He was known by his counterparts as that one overly studied scholastic who knows everything there is to be known about angels. So if there was anyone appropriate to ask that question of, it was him. Huh. What are they going to say about me in 25, 30, 40 years? They're going to say he was a nut. He was crazy. He was out of his mind. That's what they already say. But yes, I am. I am crazy. I am out of my mind. I am out of touch with reality. But again, to that I say, I was in touch with reality. But then me and reality got into an argument on Facebook. It was about 4 years ago. They blocked me, and they've refused to return my phone call since. All right. Chapter 21, verse 1. We are reading out of the English Standard Version. The Catholic Church counts very, very few of their saints. The special titles Doctorow. Yeah. Sonic's like, wait, what do you mean by that? It's a joke. That's what I mean. The whole point of me getting into an argument with reality on Facebook, it's a joke. It's kind of a play on words. Because if you're out of touch with somebody, then you haven't spoken to them in a long time. So if I'm out of touch with reality, it's not my fault. Reality just refuses to return my phone calls. It's a joke. It's a play on words. Okay. Jesus looked up and saw the rich putting their gifts into the offering box. And he saw a poor widow put 2 small copper coins. I guess if you want to put it that way. To be honest, I blocked them. I blocked them right before stream, and then after stream, I actually unblocked them. I sent them an apology. I was like, I'm sorry about everything, and I don't appreciate the fact that you insulted me, but I do want you to let you know that I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I upset you. I apologize that I upset you, and I just really want to be done with the argument. And then after I sent that apology, I actually blocked them again because I really don't want to hear it. Re-record, carry on. Sorry for interrupting. No, you're fine. It is what it is. I'm not gonna re-record. Like, that's one of the things is I made the decision when I started posting these that what happens on chat, whatever rabbit trails we fall into, that's what I'm gonna go with. And I have put up completely raw, unedited footage of each one of these chapters. That makes it kind of long. I'm gonna be completely honest. That makes it kind of long. But it may work, it may not. Maybe one day something will go viral. You know, it's I don't know. It's long-winded discussion and thought. But I will go back to the beginning of this because we were interrupted, and this is a really good. It's the telling of the 2 mites. You know, the lady and her 2 mites. This is in various. They're in a couple of different gospels here, but this is a pretty powerful story. Especially when we start talking about tithes and giving money to the church and all of this other stuff. So, chapter 21, verse 1, Jesus looked up and saw the rich putting their gifts into the offering box. He saw a poor widow put 2 small copper coins. And he said, truly, I tell you, this poor widow has put in more than all of them. For they all contribute out of their abundance, but she out of her poverty put in all she had to live on. We could go as far as to say that maybe we're not putting enough. Maybe we're not putting enough into the offering plate because we don't put until it hurts. We put a $5 bill in the offering plate because we are worried about putting a 20. Or we put a $20 bill in the offering plate and we're worried about putting 100. We don't give until it hurts. Are we giving out of our abundance? Are we not giving as the widow does? Paul addresses this when he says that each person is to give what he feels right in his heart. A lot of people go back to Micah, and as Micah says, they give a tenth of the storehouse. And you know, if you do this, this is one of the few things that God says, test me in this. And I will open up the floodgates of heaven. Define laity. I'm not familiar with that church. I'm not familiar with that term. Um, laity, maybe layman. They make the layman in some churches tithe, don't they? To answer the question, okay, yes, they do. They, in fact, the church that I've been going to for over 8 years, they use the verse in Micah, and they say that this is the only verse that God says, test me in this. And if you do this, I will open up the floodgates of heaven. There is some things that kind of cross my mind and go through my head. Is that prosperity gospel preaching? Is that pulling verses out of the Bible out of context to state that, if you bless this ministry, guys, if you give to Donnie Dreams Ministry, if you give to Dreamer Ministries by gifting subs or gifting on Ko-fi, you will be blessed. And God will bless you and he will open up the floodgates of heaven. I'm not going to say that. Do they discipline you if you don't? No, not necessarily. But for the sake of being called out, for the sake of going against the wheel, for the sake of being the stick in the mud. When me and my wife, we've been going to this church for over 8 years. When me and my wife when I was making it a thing, like I made sure that I was giving 10% of my check every 2 weeks. If I got paid, if my check was $100 or $1,000, I made sure that I gave $100 in tithes, and I was giving over $200 to the church. We sure was one of the pastor's favorites. We were treated as like members of the church. We were, given all the head pats. We were given all the love. But now, because we've been struggling financially, and we haven't been able to give that much, well, we see what happens. Now the pastor has left me on red for now over 24 hours. And now the person that is insulting me and telling me that I am out of touch with reality, because I said that what he did made me uncomfortable, as he just got praise. The fact that I am not giving that money, that I am not putting that extra money in tithes, I am out of the inner circle. That just doesn't compute. It seems that there are favoritism. And Jesus spoke directly in this. It's if a man comes into you and he's got fine robes and all of this stuff, and you bring him up to the front of the house and you say, "Here, sit here." It's probably going to be something that is going to ruffle a few feathers. But I will also say that there are churches out there that they're more about how many people they can bring in. They're more about making sure that they got the big sanctuary. And, they're all about that. Where are you? Really? I could have swore I had it there. Now I'm searching for something on the thing, and I could have swore I had it. There. They're all about that money. You're making sanctuary bigger in mind. I mean, that's cool. Like, that's awesome. And I'm glad that your church is actually growing bigger. That requires you to make that sanctuary bigger. Um, but it's the issue is, and I think this is one of the problems that people have with Big Eva is sometimes it comes across as that's what it's all about. It's all about that money, honey. It's all about how much they can bring in. But then they don't necessarily seem to be giving too much out. Like, for instance, complaining about gingerbread houses during the and the price of gingerbread house kits during the Christmas party. They said they were $16 a piece. You grabbed 5. That's $80. You've got this massive sanctuary. You've literally got a gym that's the church building itself is probably worth over 500,000, if not over $1 million. And then you've got you literally have a billboard that says miracle signs and wonders happen here. And you're complaining about money. Whereas there's another church in town that run the warming center that is in a building that looks like it's falling apart, and yet they're not throwing a ton of money on renovation. Instead, they're bringing people in the homeless camp into the church to give them a warm place to stay for the winter. Which one sounds to be more like doing work for the kingdom of God? It baffles me. It doesn't make sense. And I'm not trying to call out anybody. I'm not trying to be judgmental. I'm saying that if your ministry is concerned solely about your ministry and you're concerned solely about the people that are coming into your church, then you are not doing church right. If there is a church that is not at least concerned in some way with reaching the lost, then that is not a kingdom church. That is a man's building. And I will even go as far as to say, and forgive me because right now I'm a little frustrated about everything, and I'm putting this up on YouTube. And it's very possible that I might have some people that'll come in my church that'll get people that of the church that I've been going to that'll come in and you start keyboard warrioring everything. At this point, I don't care. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to be argumentative. I'm not trying to be judgmental. But in some cases, there comes a point that we have to ask, is the pastor's mind, is the leader of the church in the right place, especially if there is no overhead? Okay, the church that I've been going to, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe one day they will, but I don't care at this point. If there's no overhead and the head pastor does not actually answer to anybody else, there's no kind of committee or something like that, that is a problem. Like, truthfully, that is a red flag. Because there are churches out there that are very controlling churches. There are churches out there that if you end up splitting away, they're going to say that they're going to speak bad things about you. They're going to say that, oh, you're just out there searching, you're one of the people that are searching with itching ears on a teacher that'll tell you what you want to believe, or tell you the things you want to hear, or, all of this other things. And I've heard this from my head pastor. Whereas there was some people who split away from the church and he had literally said that they were demonic because they were talking ill about him. Well, I'm sorry if somebody's saying something if somebody's saying something that doesn't agree with you, or if they're saying that I don't agree with you, that doesn't necessarily mean they're demonic. As I said, me and Jeremiah don't agree, and he doesn't call me demonic. I don't think, at least not to my face. He might say that I'm demonic to other people. But I got on a rabbit trail when it's... Oh. Ferric. Or Sonic. I missed that. Sonic says, I struggle with this inflation to overpriced things, but God provides the finances for this. Yes, he does. God provides all the time. Ferric says, my Jesus would not be accepted in my church for the dirt and blood on his feet might stain the carpet. Oh, yeah. I don't know if Jesus would be accepted in my church. Because Jesus, I may be wrong, and I may be kind of inferring a little bit too much, but I think Jesus is kind of like me. He calls people out. And from my experience, calling people out doesn't fly very well at my church. Jeremiah, you need fellow co-equal ministers, some kind of higher court, whether that's a presbyter or prelacy or whatever you like, that can hold heresy trials, enforce right conduct, etc. Jeremiah says you're not demonic. I'm glad that I am not demonic, Jeremiah. You probably will agree in the fact that I'm a little crazy. I will admit I'm a little crazy. Okay. Anyway, I took that way out of context. It's like we're 30 minutes into the first like 4 verses. Jesus foretells the destruction of the temple. Verse 5. If Ferric's just a little fair. Remember, I am over 100% crazy. At least today, anyway. Yo, Joker coming in with a raid.
K3 Circus raided with 2 views.
This is the fun part. This is why Twitch is awesome. This is being recorded, by the way. So we get the raid in the recording. What is up, Joker? What is up, Nerd Mama? Where's Sonic with the shout out? Oh, now Sonic drops the shout out. Let me tell you something, brother. This streamer is a holy roller and a gaming warrior. They're all about that mental health and spreading love. What you gonna do when they play Fortnite and solve mysteries? Scary games and holiday hoopla as a tag team champion move, bro. So what you gonna do when the Psycho Joker circus rolls over you? Definitely go give Joker a follow. Dude is awesome. He did say that I forget the exact wording of it, but he did say that he was blessed this holiday season, and I'm glad you were. I'm glad this holiday season has been great for you. Thank you so much for your raid. Thank you for trusting me with your community. I also noticed that I don't have any background music on this scene, so I'm gonna switch back over to the other scene, which is basically going to be the exact same as this scene. I just might move a little bit, and we're going to see some light. Okay, we are. Again, if you're just joining us, welcome in. If you have not been here before, if you do not know me, my name is Donnie Dreams. You can call me Don. You can call me Donnie. Just don't call me late for dinner. I don't want to get there when everything's all gone. I am a dad. I am a gamer. I am a geek. I am a crazy Jesus freak. I can start talking about Jesus anytime. You have been warned. Welcome in. Thank you. I'd edit out some of that. No, I'm not taking the time to edit because I've been pushed, and I'm just going to chop this up. Everything's going to be boom. I don't care. It is raw. I am who I am. I am what I am. I am whoever you say I am. If I wasn't, then why would I say I am? The radio, the news, every day I am. Radio won't even play my jams. All right. Verse 5. We are in chapter 21. Well,
Oh, well,
there you
pardon
go.
me, Mr. Perfect! I guess I forgot that you never ever make a mistake!
That was actually really good timing. Joker's this nice reference. Yes. I've kind of gone with it. Is I had somebody tell me that I'm ate up and I'm out of touch with reality. All right, fine, let's do it. Let's go with that. I'm gonna run with that. Or basically, as I've said multiple times,
I'm a nut.
verse 5. And while some of them were speaking of the temple and how it was adorned with noble stones and offerings, he said, as for these things that you see, the days will come when there will not be one stone left upon another, and that will not be thrown down. And they asked, Teacher, when will these things be? And what will be the sign that these days are to take place? And he said, see that you are not led astray. For many will come in my name, saying, I am he, and the time is at hand. I'm going to get into a little bit of eschatology here. Many will come in my name, saying, I am he, time is at hand, but do not go after them. And when you hear of wars and tumults and revolts and various things, wars and rumors of wars, do not be terrified. For these things must first take place, but the end will not be at once. And he said to them, nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. There will be earthquakes, and in various places famines and pestilence. There will be terrors and great signs from heaven. But before all of this, they will lay their hands on you and persecute, delivering you up to synagogues and prisons, and you will be brought before kings and governors for my name's sake. This will be your opportunity to bear witness. Settle it therefore in your minds not to mediate beforehand how you answer. For I will give you a mouth and wisdom, which none of your adversaries will be able to withstand or contradict. You will be delivered up even by parents and brothers, relatives and friends, and some of you will be put to death. You will be hated by all for my name's sake, but not a hair of your head will perish. By your endurance, you will gain your lives. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on this because we've gotten into so many rabbit trails already. Here's the thing. There are many that will argue about various aspects of the faith. The Presbyterian claims that they have superior theology. I don't have superior theology. I'm still trying to figure it out myself. The thing is, at least I am humble enough to say it. When I read passages like this, that you will be persecuted, that people will persecute you and they will deliver you up to synagogues and prisons, and you will be brought before kings and governors for my name's sake. This will be your opportunity to witness. Did you watch that YouTuber who does it? Yes, the 12 days of denominational Christmas. On the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me superior theology. On the second day of Christmas. Yeah, I know. I think he's actually a Baptist, but it's the fact that denominations argue. I kind of go into this. It's the denominations that are arguing various things and debating that. We're always going to be at heads, and I don't understand why we can't just all get along. But there will be people that say, oh, the time is at hand, and we have that. You know, honestly, there there are churches that their whole spiel, almost every single thing that they go to is, and they start talking about is, it's all about the rapture. The rapture's on its way. You know, I remember back in my day when I was a kid and I was going to church, like, I don't know how long we went without a hellfire doom and gloom sermon. Sonic is once again dropping tons of Bible verses. Proverbs 24:5, a wise man has great power and a man of knowledge increases strength. ESV, a wise man is full of strength and a man of knowledge enhances his might. AMP, a wise man is strong, is better than a strong man, and a man of knowledge increases his strength and his power. It seems like it's a bunch of different ways to say the same thing. Jeremiah says, happy to be in a church that would defrock a minister who affirmed the rapture. I don't necessarily say that it's a bad thing. Like, the rapture is a good thing, and I can understand where it can give people hope. One of the things is going into a church that doesn't preach the rapture. Then I would have to go into a church that would probably end up putting me to sleep. I'm tired of hearing rapture theology, and I don't think that it's necessarily important. I think if you believe the rapture, then that's what you need to do, is go out and start preaching the Great Commission. But it's so convoluted anymore. You know, all I know is this is what I'm saying about rapture ideology, about the end of times, about when it's going to be. I do not know. Jesus did not know. And he said, the very hour I cannot tell you. But if you were waiting for the rapture, then you're not doing anything. You are the person with the denarii that's wrapped it up in a cloth, and you're not trying to invest. You're not trying to do the kingdom. A verse that is very, very, very close to me. In fact, it's tattooed on my arm. Though he slay me, yet will I trust him, and I will defend my ways unto his face. And this shall be my salvation, for a godless man cannot come before him. Just got that very first part. It's Job 13, 15, and 16. Okay, yes, being wise is better than being strong. Knowledge is more important than strength. Okay, yes. Reading a book. You've typed the whole book in chat. And it's the same verse regurgitated in different versions. But it's the idea that if you have not gotten to the point, you know, people say that we are in the last days. My argument is Peter said that we were in the last days. I feel like if you have not gotten to the point that you can say, I am willing and able to lay down my life for Christ, it's very possible your heart's not in it. And the reason why I say that is because he laid down his life for you. He laid down your life for me. And during my whole deconstruction, reconstruction thing, I had that tattoo to remind me. I'm not scared about missing the rapture. I'm not scared about facing tribulation. I'm not scared about facing prosecution. I may get a little fired up, and you probably ain't going to like me because I am not Christ. I am in no ways Christ. I'm more like Peter. I'm probably going to draw the sword. You probably going to catch these hands. But if it comes down to the point of somebody says, denounce Christ or die, okay. Go ahead, kill me now. That's not going to happen. For me, to live is for Christ. To die is but gain. while yes, I am torn, I would love to go and be with my Savior. I would love to get away from the worries and the hatred and the arguing of this world. But I know that by me being here, I am able to reach other people. I am able to find those that are hurting. I'm able to find those that are depressed. I'm able to find those that are anxious about various things. And I can explain to them, I have this hope. I've been where you're at. But I have this hope that keeps me going, that gives me the strength to push on, even in the midst of the trials, that gives me the strength to continue walking in the middle of the waves while I'm being surrounded by a roving storm. And I pressed the wrong button there. Varric says, until such time as the world ends, we will act as though it intends to spin on. Very, very true. And if it intends to spend on, then I must do the work of my Lord and Savior. And I would rather have him find me doing the work and putting in the effort and being the good servant than to have him find me return, or him return and find me sitting on the bench waiting for the bus. Moving on. Verse 20. But when you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, then you know that it is desolation has come near. Then let those who are in Judea flee to the mountains. Let those who are inside the city depart. And let not those who are out in this country enter it. For these are days of vengeance to fulfill all that is written. Alas, for women who are pregnant and for those who are nursing infant in those days, for there will be great distress upon earth and wrath against this people. They will fall by the edge of the sword and be led captive among all nations, and Jerusalem will be trampled underfoot by the Gentiles until the time of the Gentiles are fulfilled. There will be signs in the sun and moon and stars, and on the earth distressed nations in perplexity, because of the roaring of the sea and the waves. People fainting with fear, with foreboding of what is coming on in the world. For the powers of heaven will be shaken. And they will see the Son of Man coming in a cloud of power and great glory. And when these things begin to take place, straighten up and raise your hands, because your redemption is drawing near. And he told them the parable. Look at the fig tree and all of the trees. As soon as they come out in leaf, you see for yourself, and you know that summer is already near. So also, when you see that these things taking place, you know that the kingdom of God is near. Truly I say to you, this generation will not pass away until all has taken place. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will not pass away. I'm not going to extrapolate there. There are some people that will say, oh, well, John is still alive. Again, I don't know about all that. It is possible that it is the generation that these things are fulfilled. And we have seen this at times. Inspiring Philosophy did a really good verse on this and a really good video on this. It's the idea that God has sometimes made prophetic things that something must be fulfilled before the next thing is fulfilled. We do not see, there are various things that we can look at the Bible and we can say that time is drawing very close. The Euphrates River has been drawing up. The fact that Israel is now a state, the fact that there has been some various conflicts and all of this. It's like, if we're looking at the parable of the fig leaves, and it's, I mean, the leaves might be coming out, and we may not be in summer, but we could possibly definitely be in spring. Like, there are some things that do make me alarmed. But again, it's the idea that whatever happens, happens. And if I so be, if maybe I blow up and I'm brought before kings and all of this stuff, I have faith that I'm going to be able to dictate my position. And if it ends up coming up that I am, because I say that baptism doesn't save, that it's a declaration of faith, and if I am deemed a heretic, and if the church wants to actually set me up and, burn me at the stake for being a heretic, okay, let's do this, because I'm not here to please man. That's one of the things that I've wrestled with. I'll be completely honest. That's one of the things that I've wrestled with. And that's part of my own kind of intricacies or eccentricities, is the fact that when I get onto these things, the mind rushes and I go over every possible scenario. And being here on this space, being here, putting this up on YouTube, being here on Twitch, being vocal about my faith, it's crossed my mind. Will there be a day that because I'm a little unorthodox and I'm a little crazy and I am a nut, if there's a possibility that maybe someday there's going to be a religious organization or institution that is going to call me a heretic and condemn me to die for heresy? That's gone through my head. And I have had to ask myself, in continuing to stream, I've had to ask myself, am I ready for it? Am I willing to do that? Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I can't go any more into detail. That in order for me to continue to move and to not let those thoughts stop me, I've had to address that. Barrick says, I've heard this, so it is not my words. Sometimes when the Bible says heaven, it's not talking about spiritual heaven, but sky, space, everything above the ground. Yeah, I've heard that as well. There's many different times that we kind of look at heaven and we think we're going to be in heaven, but really, when you read the Bible contextually, there isn't no idea. The idea that we will be in heaven with Christ is kind of our own interpretation. That's kind of a man thing. The way that the Bible actually reads is it's all about the earth. It's all about creation. Yeah, it's heaven will colonize the earth. Like, it is all about this creation, and it is all about God's creation. And it's not necessarily we're going to have a place in heaven. It's the fact that heaven will be on earth, and that will be the new creation. Now, there is argument, the amillennial stance, which I think that I kind of relate more to the amillennial, and now that I've actually got it better than the post-millennial, I don't know, all the different words and stuff, it's confusing, but it's the idea is that the new earth is us bringing forth Jesus into the world. And it's through the Great Commission, the fulfillment of the Great Commission, that every knee will bow through the preaching of the gospel and all of that. That kind of this whole idea of the rapture ideology, it is so much to comprehend. Darn mama, 100%. Like it is very, very, very much to comprehend. And I've just because like where I've come from, I've always had to deal with end time theology, or the technical term is eschatology. I've always kind of had to deal with it, and I still can't necessarily speak about it because it's still confusing, and this is like years of kind of going over the various things. But this is what people talk about. This is what people worry about. Honestly, I say this is what Christians have been worried about from the very beginning. Like, the whole reason why Paul wrote the first letter to the church in Thessalonica was because they were worried about when God was going to come down. Like, that was the reason, the whole reason for First Thessalonians. It's almost something that we're not even meant to comprehend. It's going to happen, and that's that. Exactly, Joker. Exactly. It's going to happen, and that's that. Don't try to sit here trying to figure out exactly when, because if you're trying to figure out exactly when, that's asking how long can I sin before, I have to say, okay, Jesus, it's all you. It, yeah. But I will say that it's in dealing with everything, looking at what's been happening in the world, I have had to ask myself that question. And I think that's all that as a streamer, okay, especially I know Joker streams, I know Ferric streams. As a streamer, I do believe if we are trying to be an influencer, if we want to make a career out of this and be a Christian influencer, we need to ask that question to ourselves. If something happens, and especially if you are as crazy as me, and you are a little unorthodox, and you are a little cuckoo, are you able and willing to continue to preach Christ even in the face of adversity and even unto death? Because I think that's what Paul had to ask himself too. And it was finding that answer that gave him the ability to speak, as he claimed, with boldness. Because I don't have any else to worry about. The only reason for me to get up every day, well, yes, I got to provide for my family. Everything else is for God. And come what may, come hell or high water, I know that in the end, all things will work together for the good of those he have called according to his purpose. And that's Romans 8:28. So I'm going to step back from that and we're going to move on. Watch your house, lest your hearts be weighed down with dissipation and drunkenness and cares of this life, and that day will come upon you suddenly like a trap, for it will come upon all who dwell on the face of the whole earth. But stay awake at all times, praying that you may have strength to escape all these things that you are going to take place and stand before the Son of Man. Every day he was teaching in the temple, but night he went and lodged on the mount called Olivet. And early in the morning, all the people who came to him in the temple to hear him. And that is the end of verse 21. Now the question is, do we actually go on to read 22? Or do we leave 22, 23, and 24 for next time? Sonic says 22 like 3 times. 22, 22, 22. As the plot to kill Jesus. I don't know. Like, this is... So this is before you hit 22. Right. So I'm thinking it's like, this is the passion. Like, this is where the passion starts. I know, but this is where the passion starts. And I believe that 22, 23, and 24 would go together. Okay? Like, this would be the passion, the passion, and then 24. 22, 23, and 24 would smush together, and I think that would be really good content. All three. So 20 through 24 for 2024. Jeremiah, I remember once had a sermon about the end times once. It was like really simple. We confess the communion and glory with Christ, which the members of the invisible church enjoy immediately after death, is that their souls are then made perfect in holiness and received in the highest heavens, where they behold the face of God in light of glory, waiting for the full redemption of their bodies. Even in death, their bodies continue united in Christ and rest in their graves as in their beds until at the last day they are again united to their souls. That's a quick sermon. See, and one of the things is, I sometimes wonder about the whole idea of going up to heaven, and that's part of my that's part of my own kind of intricacies and dealing with the stuff that at the end, like dealing with the stuff that I dealt with in childhood. It's we won't see heaven until we are raised. There was a whole sermon. That's what you had to confess in the end. Gotcha. But like, that's one of the things that I've had to deal with and I've had to question. It's the whole point of going to heaven. Will we even go to heaven when we die? It's, are we asleep? Because this kind of goes along with some of the various various verses that we've read through in this chapter, or through the book of Luke, where Jesus, when he got to the little girl, she's not dead, she's only sleeping. Or what about in the whole idea when Jesus rose Lazarus? Was Lazarus in heaven? Like, was Lazarus's soul in heaven, and was he chilling in heaven? And then all of a sudden, he hears this knock on the door and an angel comes to the door. It's like, hey, Lazarus, we got to send you back down. Like, Lazarus is in heaven. It's like, no, I don't want to go. No, you don't understand. Like, that the head dude is saying you got to go back. So there's various beliefs in the idea that when we are dead, before we are risen, we're still like the soul is still with the body. I've heard that theory. In that situation, I don't necessarily know what to believe, but I don't know if y'all have anything like this. Oh, Jeremiah drops y'all in chat. He's always like so big with the big words, but then it's y'all. That's how you know you're That's how you know you're from Texas. You don't normally, not in chat, man. I think I've heard you say it in Discord, but I don't think I've seen you put it in chat. I don't know if y'all have anything like this, but at my church, the entire congregation recites things from the Bible or one of our standards in unison. That was from the Westminster Larger Catechism. Nerd Mama says, I say y'all too, and I'm in North Dakota. I mean, I'm in Indiana, and I say y'all. I still say this. Okay, I still say this. Everybody is going to be like super surprised when they do end up getting to heaven and they go up to the pearly gates and St. Peter walks out in bib cover overalls and a piece of wheatgrass in his mouth and a straw hat, and he looks at everybody. He says, "All right, y'all, get in the back of the truck. We going up to the big house." I have a family in Missouri, and I used to live there too. Psycho hillbillies are everywhere in this country. It's beautiful. Yes, it is. And that's why I do not think an invasion into the United States will ever actually go anywhere. Like, if we had somebody that tried to invade the United States, the National Guard and the Armory would be called out, and by the time they get there, they'd find a bunch of pickup trucks, a ton of beer cans, and like a bunch of hillbillies that are already drunk, and they say, "Y'all are late. We've already taken care of it." Have I seen the incredibly old movie Cocoon? No, I have not. Too Many Rednecks? Yes. Yep. And I guess since I'm streamer, I'm a high-tech redneck. Mayberry meets Star Trek. Never enough. Very, very true. Very, very true. It is. Nerd Mamas, I love Star Trek. We can call ourselves Nerdnecks, though. Oh, dude, I love it. Nerdnecks. That is what it is. It is the rednecks that are gamers and geeks. We are the Nerdnecks. You better recognize. Oh, Nerdnecks. I want to keep that. I want to. Ooh, I like that. I like that. Oh, the nerd necks. Yeah, there we go. Nerd necks for Jesus. I'm copyrighting it, right? Well, we can do some collab. We'll do some collab, and we'll make a T-shirt, Joker. All right, but no, you go ahead and have that. You do the T-shirt, and you can have it. You were the one that brought it up, the nerd necks, but I want one. All right, I think I'm going to do that. I think tomorrow on stream will be on 22, 23, and 24, and I'm going to call it here. Stop the recording again. If you are watching on YouTube, I know this has been kind of interesting. I've been recording for 2 hours and 30 minutes, and I've gone on 2 chapters. So rabbit trails be everywhere. It's fun. I as I said, I don't have the greatest theology. I am a random dude with a Bible, and I was told that it couldn't fly. Well, in that case, as we just went over, I am a nerd neck. So I'm going to build myself a trebuchet. I guarantee it'll get some air that way. If you have followed along this way and you have gotten this far and you haven't decided that you were going to destroy me in the comments or just click off because I'm kind of crazy, by all means, hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button, hit the little bell for you to be notified for any kind of new content. And if you want to join in the conversation live, you can do so on twitch.tv/Donnie Dreams. Thank you all for being here on the YouTubes, and I wish you the best. God bless. Over and out.